There's a new football game coming out very, very soon. Oh, June? I think it's out in June, but the beta is going to be this weekend. Last weekend, I was invited to an influencer preview and we played a whole load of it. It's called Rematch and it's really fun. So I wanted to show you some of the footage from the game, some of the things we did while we were playing. That preview has now ended. The beta starts this weekend, I think the 18th. You can sign up on the website. I will show you that a little bit later on in the video. If you want to get involved in the beta this weekend, I thoroughly recommend it because this is a fun game. And yeah, I'll just give you my thoughts on Rematch so far. So this is the game. It's like the easy comparison is going to be Rocket League or maybe like FIFA Street or something. It's neither, right? The devs of this game, the previous games they made were two like Kung Fu, action-y sort of fighting games. So Absolver and SIFU were the two games they made before. I'll show you briefly some footage of those games just so you get an idea of what those games look like, how they played. They were really well regarded games. So I was like interested to know how they were going to move from these single player fighting games into something that is much more a multiplayer arena sort of football game, 4-on-4, 5-on-5 football game. And you can definitely see the influence of those games, not just in the art style, but also in the way the game plays here. It's a really weird transition to move it to a football game, but it seems to have really worked. So like my first impression, okay, let me tell you, I'm not going to wrap this up in cotton wool. I enjoyed it. Like, I don't know why I'd wrap that up in cotton wool. That's good news. We had a lot of fun playing this game. Now, I played with McKins and Gormy, two other content creators, a couple other people as well. McKins played a little bit before he played with me, before we got into a multiplayer. On your own, I think it sort of suffers a little bit. So it's definitely one of those ones you want to play with your mates. But it's definitely got that feel. And I think there's definitely a buzz around it in the same way that like 7, 8 years ago, whenever it came out, there was around Rocket League when the Rocket League beta dropped. I remember playing that beta. Actually, it was pretty like there wasn't loads of buzz around Rocket League before it came out. People had played the previous one, which was Superpower Rocket Cars. But like Rocket League then just absolutely blew up. Obviously, Rocket League is free now. That is something to note on this game is that it's not going to be free and it has a season pass. So I'll come back to that in a little bit. But the best way to describe this is, okay, at a base level, yes, Rocket League in that it's a 4-on-4. Is Rocket League 3-on-3 or 4-on-4? 4-on-4 or 3-on-3, I think, right? It's a little arena football game. It's not as physics-based as Rocket League. It's a little bit physics-based. You got to place your passes. It's not as like, with FIFA, your passes are like pretty much auto going where you want. You're just controlling one player. You're not controlling the entire team. You control their shots. You're controlling their passing. You can do some skill moves. The skill moves are really fun to do and really pull off. You can pull off some fantastic goals. You'll see some of the goals in the footage that I show off here. Like there has been some amazing goals we've scored, like Rabonas, rainbow flicks, all sorts of cool stuff like volleys, overhead kicks. We've seen some fantastic goals also scored against us. We saw one guy do a little seal dribble and then volley it, and it was really, really good. Like that part of the game definitely is really, really fun. The way it controls takes a little bit of getting used to. There is a learning curve here. I think that's going to be really important for a game like this. You can definitely, like, when we were playing, we were like, yeah, these players were playing against are good, or these players were playing against, they don't know what they're doing. Goalkeeper, I never did the goalkeeper tutorial, which was a mistake, and I ended up letting in some easy goals, but Gormy winning goal for us, and he was fantastic. Like, you definitely need people who play in goal. Goalkeeper rotates, like, whoever's the in the box, if you're in the box, you become the goalkeeper if no one else is in the box. And there's also a goalkeeper like after every kickoff. But if you leave the box and someone else goes in, they become the goalkeeper. So it's like what do you call it? Rush goalie. We play that when you were a kid. So also in terms of controlling it, one of the things that takes a lot of getting used to is like, when you're in FIFA, you just hold down the shoot button. If you're in the right direction, you get the right power, it'll go in the goal. Now shots here don't quite feel like they always have the same power. Like if you're taking a big shot, it's a little bit of a wind up to get that shot on, and you can get slid in that time like really easy. Like the defenders, they recover very, very quickly if they miss a tackle. It's so quick. But if you can hit that shot off, you can like put some spin on it. You can do some lovely stuff. You can score some like really good looking goals. The other thing that takes a bit of getting used to is the ball will shoot where you are aiming pretty much, unless you put a big curve on it. So if you're shooting above the goal, and you're like, as long as you're not like, if you're quite far away, there'll be a dip, but it's probably going to get saved if that's the case. If you're close to the goal and you're shooting above the goal, it is going to go above the goal. And they said to play this with a controller because keyboard and mouse isn't quite refined. I'm going to be curious if the pros are playing this with keyboard and mouse or with a controller. I think moving your player is better with the controller, obviously. But the shooting is definitely that tad better with the keyboard and mouse. Like one of the other things, like putting spin on the ball was interesting because when you put spin on the ball, it's also your movement stick. So I was like, by the end, I was putting spin on my shots, but every time I was putting spin on my shots, I was like moving my player like to look completely the opposite direction. So I wasn't actually seeing whether the balls were going in or not. And you know, you kind of lost the idea of whether you're shooting, you were getting that spin on target or not. So that was kind of like a little, I don't know if it's that, if it would be the same on the PC, probably, you know, so refining those controls, I think they've got a bit of refining to do there, but it definitely felt fun. Like the defending was good enough. That slides, like crunching, no fouls whatsoever, so you just crunch as much as you like. Whether the slides or whether you picked up the ball was interesting. One of the things you can do, you can dribble. So you hold that, you got a sprint. Your sprint is really limited, by the way. Your sprint goes down quickly, and there's a double sprint as well, like an absolute power sprint. But again, you've got to wait for that to power up. A bit like Rocket League. You've got to wait for that to power up again. And it takes a little bit of time to power up. So you don't want to overdo it. Like sprinting you can't sprint everywhere like you can pretty much in FIFA. You've got to save your sprint for sort of when you need it. And like the rest of the time, don't just be sprinting while you're like running around the pitch, because you're going to easily deplete your sprint and then get caught out essentially, because players with sprint are going to get away from you so quickly. You can also so there's the double sprint, but when you've got the ball, you can like tap A to like tap it in front of you. You lose control of the ball temporarily. But you've also then, you know, players will struggle to attack you. And also if you hold the left trigger and players come in with a slide, you sort of take control of the ball. And I think it stops them from getting the ball off you with the slide. So sometimes the slide hits and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the tackle hits and sometimes it doesn't. And I think it's around whether that player is defending the ball with the left trigger. I think, you know, I need to play around with that a little bit more to work out if that is the case. But if you are holding down that left trigger and you hold down the A button, so rather than pressing it to tap it forward, you hold down that A button and you move your left stick, you'll also do a skill move, and some of those come off really well. But again, you don't want to overdo that because there's a little bit of a recovery and a wind up on that. So if you do a skill move past one player and then you try to go for a second player, even if you beat the second player, you've given the first player enough time to recover. And they, like, as soon as you finish the skill move, they will, you know, they'll be back and they will slide you and just win the ball back. So generally you'll only manage to do 2 skill moves if it's against like the same player. Like against multiple players is pretty hard. But some of the stuff we've seen some players doing, like the volleying and stuff like that, the control, you know, bringing the ball into control. So the ball's coming into you and you like chest it and turn it and play it on, like much better than how it feels in when you get the hang of it, much better than how it feels in like FIFA and other games. Obviously not something you can really do in Rocket League at the top level. So there's like a lower ceiling to some of the top skills in this, I think, than Rocket League. But I wonder where like the learning curve goes on this. It's gonna be really interesting to see how this game does. Partly because of the costs, but also because of like how it feels. I've seen a lot of people really enjoying the game. Like I said to McKinsey and Gormy, I was like, let's give this a game on Friday night. Let's see how it goes. And then Saturday night, they were messaging me, are we playing tonight? Sunday night, they were messaging me, are we playing tonight? It has that feel. If you were looking for that feel in a game, it has that feel. And I think that's really important. That's going to be a really good thing to make the game, you know, make sure the game does really well. So it's like, it's definitely that middle ground between, let's say, Rush mode in FIFA and Rocket League. You know, it's not as much physics based in Rocket League. It's not as much like, hey, you've got to position your car to like get the right bounce or whatever. Like you've got a lot more control over the ball in this, but you don't have like quite, it's not quite as let's say easy as in I keep saying FIFA, EAFC, as in EAFC Rush mode. You know, you're not like in complete control. You're in complete control of your player, but you know, they feel much more like a physical human than like a professional. I guess still like a professional footballer, but like they're sort of hyper realistic. Is that the word? Hyper realistic in this? Like you can do some amazing skill moves, but also like at a functional level, like you've got to play the passes yourself rather than it like auto, you know, snapping to that player. That's something to bear in mind with the goals. You know, it's not going to auto snap to the top corner of the goal if you play your shot right. You have to aim it there. And like, hopefully the goalkeeper doesn't get. The goalkeepers are pretty good once you know how to goalkeep. There's some really good goalkeepers. We did see a lot of goals from our goalkeeper booting it long and it bouncing over the opposition goalkeeper. Once we entered into rank mode, we saw that a lot less often, which was interesting. But it's certainly in just dropping into like games, Gormy every time he was hitting the ball, like we were just like shoot. He just hit the ball, it would bounce just outside the box over the goalkeeper. We also saw like one of the metas we saw was people bouncing it like actually missing the first shot on purpose because it committed the goalkeeper. So you'd bounce it above the goalkeeper, like on the top of the goal. It would commit the goalkeeper, so they would like come out, and then you would be able to get the rebound. Whereas if you just shot, it would like they could save it easy. So definitely like rebounds was a meta, and like long shots was a meta as well. It'll be interesting to see how those develop in the game. You know, if goalkeepers get used to that, if people get better at being goalkeepers. But yeah, that was definitely fun. Passing was one of the things we didn't like. I don't know if it's because players were being marked or we didn't see too much passing. Like we felt like the pass function, which was the X button if you're on an Xbox or the square button if you're on a PlayStation. The passing didn't feel quite as good as just like using the shoot button to pass, because if you use the shoot button to pass, you get the right power on it and you could sort of direct the direction a little bit. Whereas it felt like the passing was like sort of under hit in a way. So definitely the difference between passing and shooting when making a pass. We started to always opt for shooting, particularly for clearing upfield. Like when we were playing in rank mode, we got a striker. He came in to join us, and we were just smashing upfield to him, and he was getting the goals every time, and we were flying up the ranks with that. That worked out really well for us. So I think this game is going to do well. I think the beta this weekend is going to be really, really popular. If you're in it, let me know what you think of it. You know, if you play it this weekend, let me know what you think of the beta. If you played this weekend, so if you're one of the alpha testers or you played, you know, you're one of the influencers who played, let me know how you got on. You know, put a comment down below. If you've made some content, you know, put it down in the comments below as well. I'll allow it. Just this once, I'll allow it. If you've made a little bit of content around the game, you know, do me a shout out and I'll let you comment down below if you made some content during this weekend. Because it's interesting. I wonder how other creators, you know, sort of got on with this. So it's not out for a while. It's interesting. One of the things interesting about the beta, this beta and the influence weekend is they're not releasing for like another month and a half. So it's not like one of those betas that they do a week before. It's just really a server stress test. Actually, that's a good point. The servers. So it did chuck us into the US East a few times, and when it was there, it was a little bit too laggy. We had a few times where the ball would like. So there is one of the things, and I don't know how I feel about it, because it's not really physics based like Rocket League. So one of the things you'll see is the ball like does magnet, particularly with goalkeepers. So you'll see the ball go past the goalkeeper like it's going into the goal, and then it snaps to the goalkeeper's hands, or the goalkeeper snaps to the ball, and like the save happens. Or like sometimes you think the ball snapped to your feet, and it hasn't, and like you run past the ball. And I don't know if that's like a little bit of server lag, or I don't know if that's the way the game is like determining if you've got the ball or not. Like once I thought I'd run on with the ball, and I didn't even have the ball at my feet. I was like going through to shoot on goal. The ball wasn't even at my feet. Like I'd left it, I'd run over the ball, and I was like, okay, right. So sometimes it's snapping to feet, and sometimes it's not, and I work it out. Like it's a little bit to do with tapping A or not. You know, I might have mistapped A. So yeah, that is one bit of the game that was a little bit confusing, was like whether the ball snapped to feet or not. Then we had a few server problems also with like getting into a party. Every couple of games we had to quit the game and all load it up again and get into a party again, which was a little bit frustrating. But you know, we're 2 months before release right now. When we ended up on some of the US servers, it was a bit laggy sometimes, once or twice in the EU server as well, but it wasn't too bad. Again, I expect all that stuff to be ironed out before the full release. Like that's the point of these kind of weekends and these betas and stuff. And I think like the fact that we were plowing on with it and really enjoying it and added extra days into it despite that is like really, really telling. We had a lot of people come in and like asking for keys and stuff as well. If I get some extra keys, I'll do a giveaway. There is a potentiality. If this video does well, share it with your friends. I'll have some keys to give away, hopefully. But we'll see. We'll see. Now, I guess the other bit of it to talk about is two things, I suppose. One is the cost, and two is like the cosmetics and season pass stuff. So, and then, actually the beta as well. If you want to sign up for the beta this weekend, we'll talk about that as well. So let's start with the cost. I'm going to go across to Steam now. Right, so here it is on Steam. See, I'm in the playtest and not. So 19th of June, so we're 2 months out. So there's lots of time for them to tweak and adjust stuff. Oh, by the way, I really like this. I don't know if I didn't show, like you would have seen it in the video, like the background. So you're in a stadium. The stadium is rendered, but it does like this backdrop. And I don't know if that's because it makes the ball easier to see than in the stadiums. But we didn't actually have the underwater one, but these backdrops are really cool and they like set a theme and stuff. So yeah, we didn't see too many headers. Heading was kind of awkward. Anyway, so it's 21 quid. There was also a Pro Edition and an Elite Edition. Both come with advanced access. Does it tell us what's in the editions? I can't remember if it tells it, if we see what's in the editions. Oh yeah, there's Pro Edition, there's Elite Edition. Oh, Elite Edition, here we go. So you get the captain pass, the season pass, double rewards. Get a couple of backgrounds, a couple more cosmetics, an extra some celebration thing, and a cap. I mean, how much extra is the Elite Edition? It's 20 quid extra for the Elite Edition. I don't know. I mean, no, like, so the visual look, I quite like the visual look, but none of the cosmetics, I'll say, excited me. Nothing in the cosmetics, I was like, yes, I need that. I did get a little beanie at one point, and like looking at these, I'm like, that blazon buckler tank top, I'm like, unless that is that tied to something, I don't think it is it? And then down here, this stuff as well, the captain pass, the blaze, you get the same stuff in the, so you get one captain pass. So I guess you like, it's basically like the season pass. You get 2 copies of the season pass if you get the elite one, and 1 copy if you get the pro one. I think I was able to unlock the pro one with the in-game currency that I'd earned. So that's something to bear in mind, is you probably can unlock it if you play it enough. Like I'll show that on screen, but it says like the values might change, so it might not be able to see that like just yet. Now my worry is at 21 quid and like, 30 quid and 40 quid nearly for the pro versions, is that is a much larger barrier to entry than, I mean, Rocket League I think was like 15 quid when it came out. I don't remember. It wasn't too expensive. Fall Guys, what was Fall Guys? Probably about 20 quid, 15. I suppose it's around the same level as those sort of games. But I do worry that the fact that those games are there and they're free now, and this is dropping with a season pass day one. I don't know. I mean, it's not a business practice I necessarily like, but it's there. Is that going to be too much of a barrier for entry for people to drop on the game? I saw a lot of people like wishlist the game based on just watching me play it and watching us have a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with it, so I might get it and we might play it on the channel. I don't know what the longevity of it is as well. Like that, I'm curious about what the cosmetics are going to be like, what they're going to add to the game. Is it just going to be the modes we saw in the game? Would like an 11 on 11 game be fun in we were having this discussion, would 11 on 11 be fun in the game? Like would that be absolute chaos? Is there like smaller modes, or like, you think Rocket League now has so many modes? And I'm hesitant to make too many Rocket League comparisons, but obviously it doesn't have real footballers in it, so that appeal's not there. The footballers don't have different attributes or anything. That's something I should have mentioned that earlier. There's no difference between your player and someone else's player. Other than the visual look, you can have male and female players as well. So yeah, I'm worried about the price point. I think because of the buzz, it'll be fine. But like a multiplayers, like games like this, live and die on one player basis, and be like creators dropping in on it. And I think like influencer culture and influencer influence can be overstated, but certainly on games like this, like whether there's any influencers playing it, you end up with a Rocket League, or you end up with a Concord, you end up with a Fall Guys, or you end up with a Lawbreakers, right? Like that's where you could be looking. This isn't the first or last multiplayer football game where you control one player. I played one on the channel a few months ago. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. Interesting what people think about the price point. It's not too high. Like 21's all right. It's probably about, like, for this kind of game, I would say it's like, if it was higher, I'd be, I'd be like, if it was like 40, I'd be like, no, people are not going to drop 40 on it. I think 21's like just about in that realm where you could get away with for an indie game, but particularly with like season passes and a multiplayer one. I wonder how much SIFU is at this point. Like SIFU's been out for a while. See, it's on 60% off. It's normally 32 quid. I think I own SIFU as well. I can't remember if I've played it or not. But SIFU is like a really cool looking game, like this Kung Fu game. Is Absolver not on Steam? Because it's not showing in their games. Look at Slow Cap. Okay, here's Absolver. Okay, I have Absolver. That's why it's not showing it to me. But Absolver is really cool as well. I don't know how much of Absolver I played. I did play some of it. But you see, they're really well regarded games. When did SIFU come out? I imagine they've been working on this since 2023, so probably like 2 years ago now. Very positive. It's a French dev. That's one of the things I did notice. There was a lot of spelling mistakes in the game, and that's one thing that obviously that I'm sure they'll get that tidied up like before it comes out. So if you want to register for the beta on their website, you can do this, beta invites. You can sign up here. You can choose what platform as well. I don't know if console's going to get it. I had a Steam key. I don't know if console's going to get it this weekend, but you can sign up here on their website, playrematch.com. You can get it there. Obviously all their socials and stuff are there as well. The pre-order is also there. So yeah, it's going to be also on console, Xbox and PlayStation 5, not the PlayStation 4. Yeah, I'm curious if it tells us anything extra about this competitive mode, seasonal content. So I'm curious what the so I haven't been impressed with the cosmetics so far. So I'm curious what the cosmetics are going to be like. But I mean, these team badges are interesting. I think we saw team badges before. But yeah, that's Rematch. I had a lot of fun with it. I'm probably going to play it on the channel again. It'll be on the Twitch channel as well. There'll be some TikTok clips going up. I've been putting some clips up. But you want to see some of the clips of the fantastic goals, go check out my YouTube shorts because there are some great goals in there. Like, they're really cool. And yeah, we'll probably do some more content on this. But if you're interested in this, let me know. And yeah, I mean, it's a nice little stopgap before we get the next FM game as well for the channel. So that's good stuff. If you want to check out, I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave the live stream up here for one of the live streams from when I played it. So the playlist of the live streams is going to be there. If you want to go check out the live content from when I played it live on stream, go watch these videos. And yeah, maybe see you in the beta this weekend. See you later. Ciao, ciao.